Well, hello, beautiful people of planet Earth and all other interdimensional entities. Welcome to Titania's realm at Sacred Space. It's 11:26 a.m. on the 22nd of March 2024. That's in the Gregorian calendar. On planet Earth, that's been in existence for, I don't know, about 1,000 years or so. So the space-time confluences are subject to variability, and your cultural background and your race memory and wherever you are in the space-time continuum. But officially in Australia, Brisbane time, it's 11:27 now, so we'll go with that. As you can see, I've just had a shower, washed my hair. It was all done lovely on Tuesday, but because my beautiful hairdresser put some sort of moisturising thing in, my hair gets oily on day 3 and I had to wash it again, which is annoying, but I'm having to wash my hair every 3 days anyway because weakness, being unwell, makes my hair oilier. So not too pleasant, but I had a better night last night. I only got up once. Can you tell that I'm a little bit more perkier and synapsy? So that's good. It's good. One break in the night is enough. It's already annoying. But I had a few very, very bad nights during the week where I was just completely zombified. So I'm hoping and praying, fingers crossed, that the solifenacin drug is going to work for me. It's looking positive. It's only, I think, day 6 or 7 since I started it. Day 6 maybe. And oh my goodness, I was a bit knocked around the first few days, which would have been my body shedding the mirabegron and adjusting to the solifenacin. I feel like I've been put through a Mack truck this week, but however, I'm persevering, people. I'm persevering, and I'll be out dancing tonight, as long as I don't crash later on the day with severe exhaustion. I'll be out dancing tonight, and I plan on dancing tomorrow night as well. So I'll have to conserve my energy very, very carefully and surf it very, very gently. So even though I'll be out officially dancing, I may also be sitting down and watching the crowd and sipping on my drink and having little rest periods in between. Because otherwise, my beloved musician friends are literally going to kill me with all the best intentions in the world, wanting to have me out there thriving. But I have to be gentle with the old bod, you know. My body's not like other people's. I've got a lot of issues that I've been surfing since early childhood, and I have to be very, very conscious not to burn myself out. So, on the other hand, if I do well this weekend and cope well with the extra dancing, the extra few hours of dancing, then that tells me that I'm ready to that I've built up enough stamina and getting stronger to dance more often. And the more I dance, the more fit my body becomes. Maybe, just maybe, it's not likely, but maybe it might resolve some of my issues like the sleep apnea, but it may be too little too late anyway. But Mama T dreams of a life of opulence and energetic joie de vivre and true love and passion and romance whenever that manifests. I don't know how that's going to happen, but stranger things have been known to happen, like the fact that I'm still alive at almost 59 years of age. That's the weirdest thing of all, people. So I'm holding on for this almost illusory, delusionary fantasy of having the wonderful life I've always dreamed of, with a truly loving, devoted partner who's loyal and faithful to me by my side, and better health so I can enjoy a healthy, a healthy existence with my partner, whoever that person might end up being, because they've got to let me know that they're sincere and genuine and authentic and want me. And I may not have met that person yet. It may not happen till I transition this physical body, as I always say. But however, I'm delighting in the beautiful friendships and the nurturance and the encouragement and the motivation and my sweet ones that want to see me dancing even more often and even more wildly. Oh, but Jesus. But anyway, we'll see how we go this weekend. I think that will be kind of an interesting test for me, given that I've actually had a bit of a rough week. So I may be flogging my own dead Viking Mustang Quay horse, but Mama T is, I'm a magical person actually. I'm a maker of miracles at times. Well, no, let's get rid of the ego. I'm not the maker of miracles. I am the conduit of miracles at times. Only the Holy One creates miracles. But what I mean by that, I am the maker of miracles, is I've astonished myself by outliving my own expectations for my own life path. I didn't think I'd make it this long. And I have actually experienced miracles in my own life where I don't know how I did certain things. They were a bit astounding. So, yes, I am the hollow bone in the shamanic worldview sometimes, and I am grateful and I am humble before the gods and the Holy One and all manifestations, and I am grateful for all that is, was, and ever shall be. That is, I can see really working very hard with my own physical limitations and financial limitations, dear Goddess, to boost me up and get me back up into my full, vibrant prowess and manatoa and power as a woman, as a spirit, as a soul, as a shaman, as a witch, as a Jew, as a psychedelic dreamer. I've been lifted up and carried on angels' wings, literally and figuratively speaking. So I've got chills running all through my body as I said that. That's confirmation that they're like, yes, Tanya, we acknowledge that you acknowledge us. They like it when I acknowledge them. Humans forget to acknowledge that we are in co-creation with higher powers, and we tend to think that we are the special ones. No, the only reason we are special at all is because we have souls, and our souls are in constant interdimensional, hyperdimensional contact with higher beings, but we forget that. We sometimes remember it when we're dreaming, but in daily life we forget exactly who we are and why we are and what we truly are. And it's hard because when you suffer as I have all your life with not very fantastic health, you become very trapped in your own physicality and the pain and the frustration of not being able to achieve certain things and get where you want to go and have the life you want, and you get fooled that you're somehow just this body, right? No. But however, the soul reinvigorates the body, and in my case the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak, literally. So this is why what happens when I dance for 3 or 4 hours and the adrenaline kicks in and you see me almost the equivalent of not literally flying, but my energy being so heightened and so expansive. It's my spirit reclaiming and healing aspects of my mind, body and spirit. The parts of me that were broken from the age of 6 and probably even before then, if truth be known. And so it's astonishing and it's powerful and it's a little bit terrifying at times, even for me. Trust me. You ever see me slump into my seat in exhaustion and just go, that's me being astonished with my own physicality and the spirit that's innovating it. There's no accident that I dance wildly to the song Zombie, because I lived as one for roughly 30 years. So I'm being playful with my physicality and seeing, what else can the Tanya do? What else can the Tanya do? And by the gods, if I ever reactivate my sexuality and take a lover again, that will be another very scary transitory process, because I've shut that down for so many years, more than 8 years. And it's about the 4th time in my life that I have had a long, long period of asexuality and celibacy. So I'm actually frightened to open up again. But it could happen. It could happen. I was willing to give someone a chance back in December, but they got frightened, and that's a good thing. If they're frightened of my sexuality, they're not the man for me. And I was lying in bed this morning thinking about that person, not so much that person, I wasn't thinking fondly or anything, musing about it, but I was just thinking how I've had such difficulty finding a truly loving partner all my life. I've had abuser after abuser after abuser, and the only men that I was able to maintain in my life were men who were kept it very platonic, and there was no sexual agenda, and they've just remained decent, honouring, loving friends. And they are the men that have stayed in my life, some of them for 30 years, Jared, 32 years now. So, men that there was never any sexual quotient to the relationship, to the connection. And I was thinking about that, because I always said to the gods, the angels, I said, how will I know if a man is really deeply, truly in love with me? Because I've never experienced it before. I've only had men being, sweet and charming in the beginning and then life-threatening at the end. And sometimes the space between them being sweet and charming and being life-threatening didn't take very long, a matter of weeks or months. So I said to the gods, my holy ones, my angels, my higher beings, how will I know? How will I ever be able to trust? And how will I know who is the one that really has my front and my back and is proud and happy to stand by my side and will include me in his world? How will I know? And the answer came back, consistency. Consistently demonstrating their true heart intentions towards me and proving beyond all doubt that they deeply love me and respect me. And I thought, that's interesting, because that means that person will have had to have been in my life on some level for quite some time. So I guess I'm still not 100% sure who that person is or will be, but let me just say, people of Earth, it's getting a little bit interesting. I'm a little bit curious. So consistency, consistently showing up, keeping up with me and sticking with me, even though I can be a bit of an oddball and a bit weird at times, from my trauma issues. But yes, I'm enjoying the true agape, platonic, unconditional sweetness that's been surrounding me since Beauregard was torn from me with his splenal cancer they claimed he had. I wonder if he really did have that. I don't trust any of them, quite frankly. But anyway, we lost our Beauregard, and the grief was intense. And then all this love just bloomed for me like a 1,000-petaled lotus, and I was like, what's actually going on here? It was astonishing, people. So the right man for me won't be terrified of my sexuality, and he won't try and steamroll me into a situation that I'm not comfortable with, and he will be patient with me, and he will zealously guard my unique nervous system, because actually already, this is going to sound weird, he's sensing me already energetically where I'm at and whether I'm ready to launch into a full-blown, passionate sexual relationship. And he knows that there will be enough level of protection that I don't feel invaded or oppressed or squeezed into a situation that I can't get out of, that I may not like. I'll be conscious of that. I hope I'm making sense. Maybe I'm just, it's a strange car. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm exaggerating or hyperbolating, but I do feel that this person is a really loving, honouring, cherishing man, and he does want to make sure that I'm safe and I'm comfortable, so that when we do join in a union eventually, whoever this person is, it will be sacred and trustworthy and noble and clean and clear, meaning no doubts, no fears, no sabotage, no triangulations, just him and I together. Hopefully for the long term, for the rest of our lives together, and a happy joint, mutually exclusive union. Because I've had the dead shits over the years that used and abused, and I cannot go there ever again. Ever again. Gonna put on the aircon, people. So I had a very unusual debrief with my psychiatrist, which I won't go into because confidentiality between him and I, but it freaked me out a little bit. I do love my psychiatrist. I'm very fond of him. He's a very good man, but there was a few things that he said to me on Wednesday that were a bit alarming, quite frankly. And although I openly discuss my sexuality, I've even discussed it here in this video, there's such a thing as boundaries, people. So, if I do enter into a sexual union with someone at some stage in the future, if, and that's a big fucking if, people, because I have serious trust issues, it will be managed discreetly and privately. There won't be sharing of my lustful cavorting with anyone, because I'm used to people taking far too much interest in what goes on in my nether regions, and that's probably a leftover stain from being abused as a child, leaving that open boundary just exploding, and everyone, ooh, what's she gonna do now? Oh, there's a man and he likes her. Is she gonna have sex? She's gonna have sex? She's gonna have sex? Well, whether I do or whether I don't, it's nobody's bloody business but mine, quite frankly. Only the gods and the angels and the fae can impishly stand by and go, oh, here she goes. Mustang Quay's back riding shotgun in her saddle again. Oh my goodness, now wouldn't that be an alarming twist in my life after so many years of shutting down my sexuality? But anyway, it's all a bit mischievous and it's all a bit cute and it's all a bit soul innovating seeing me come back to life after nearly a decade of deep, deep, deep grief and trauma over some dickhead that wasn't worth even a blip in the space-time continuum. But you know, I think I've pretty much healed from that now. You know, it's amazing how the gods arranged that I made sure that I was healed by flicking them at me at red lights at Christmas. But that's okay. However it works, right? The angels know how to tweak my spirit, and they've brought me a beautiful man in my life who was kind and sweet and noble and decent, and I'm so grateful for that because men like that in my life are a rare, rare gift and a privilege. And my platonic male friends who adore me and have my back, you know, are the most cherished of all. It's all very well to have a quick frottering with someone, but if that person isn't sincere and awful, it's like just leaves you feeling violated and ravaged and cold and empty and sets a woman back. So we won't be having any of that, my darlings. I have spoken. Mama T has spoken. But anyway, the enjoyment of life and the occasional flirting and being a little bit, cheeky it's okay. That's fine. A little bit of frisson every now and then, especially when it's a safe container, and we all know that, it doesn't go any further than that environment in the club, and stays that way, and it's quite sweet and heartfelt and endearing, and I love it. I love that I'm treated so beautifully now, and I'm grateful. After 8 years of people treating me like a piece of dirty rag, it's astonishing that this time has even arisen in my life where I'm treated with great love and respect and honour, and so so we begin today's readings of even date, 22nd of March 2024. Apparently it's 25 degrees Celsius and mostly cloudy. That would be right. Sun's just fought its way through, but it was indeed very cloudy when I began this video. So today's readings are entitled Estrangement, Rinse and Repeat, and A Dying Bee and New Potentiates. Interesting times. Here I post a photo. Now this was in the days when I was very, very determinedly looking for a partner and never found one because of the trickster spirit, the dickhead that still follows me around at red lights occasionally. But and here I was feeling very beautiful and triumphant and excited, indeed, wearing one of my corsets, and 22nd of March 2014, another great night out on the bus home. Awesome. So I was out, 3 or 4 times a week in those days, hoping against hope to find my truly loving partner, right? Which never manifested in my life. I mean, here we are 10 years later, still waiting for the one. It's cute, but it's also like being tortured. It's been a long, long, long wait. So every now and then, I admit, I get a little bit overly excited about, the affection shown my way, and sometimes I think maybe I run with it a little bit, and I think, oh well, I'll rein it back in because I'm just being an idiot and being foolish and being stupid. And no, a few weeks go by and I'm shown again that I'm thought highly of. So it's all very sweet, people, but the Tanya is conscious that she has to stay in her little holding pattern and keep surfing all her wildest psychedelic dreams, manifesting them day by day, but only by the will of the gods, because I've invoked them deliberately to make sure that I don't invite another lying, cheating, dishonouring, murderous, rapey fuckknuckle into my life, right? So if you come up against me and think you're going to woo me and knock me over, just remember you have to woo my angels and my guardian protectors and my wolf and my own circumspect, embattled spirit. It's going to take a lot to knock down all those layers of protection, people. And yet, interestingly, I was willing to knock them down in December for that person that I don't know what that was about, actually. Maybe it was a test on my part to see how serious he was. And when he headed for the hills, it was actually deeply amusing to me. I thought, right. He promised he was going to love all of me, but he ran away at the first sign of real sexual potentiality. So I find that interesting. So, and amusing. I'm amused by it. I was angry about it at first because no one likes to be rejected sexually, people. But now I'm just couldn't handle my angels, couldn't handle my wolf protector, couldn't handle life, l'chaim. I need a full-blooded, fully fleshed out man who has great spiritual mana, who can handle me. And he doesn't have to be Māori, or, don't get me wrong, I'm using the word mana in the sense of mana. But he has to be a man of great nobility and grace and courage to handle me. Sounds like a challenge, but it's not meant to be that way, people. He needs to be spiritual and aware and self-aware and powerful in his own core, and he needs to recognise my spirit, my soul, and choose me beyond all other things and women, which is hard, I know, but I need to be bloody well chosen this time, because I've had enough of time wasters and feckless men. I really have. Also, I'm an old lady now. Let's face it, 59. In 3 weeks' time, I will be 59. What the actual fuck? So, it's gonna be an interesting 12 months from my 59th year. Very interesting indeed. Because actually my 49th year was very powerful and interesting too. Had a wonderful time when I turned 49. That was back, that photo I just showed you of me in my corset, just leading up to my 49th birthday. And was I showered with love and affection back in those days, even though the bullshit romance thing with Dave didn't pan out. I was really, really loved and fated by all the bands that I used to dance for back in the day. Back in those days, I was at Irish Murphys and the Elephant and the Treasury Casino, and I even followed one band, Burst. I followed to the Tempo Bar, and actually, yes, that's right. That was on my birthday week. We went to the Tempo Bar where they were playing, and they all wished me happy birthday and fussed over me as though I were a VIP back then. So that was sweet and kind, and I do remember the good times. Don't you worry. Mama T's not always angry and vengeful and wrathful like the Kali goddess. Sometimes I honour and cherish and nurture the lovely times too, because life is yin and yang, darlings, always in a constant dance. Anyway, here we are, the 22nd of March 2023. So 1 year ago. Today I went to the doctor, GP. This is my relatively new GP. He said the swelling on my ankle is just inflammation aggravated by arthritis. I need to elevate my foot, put warm compresses on the swelling and rub deep heat or Voltaren into it. He confirmed it's not cellulitis, so that is good news, because I freaked out that I might have cellulitis because my friend Lynn's husband Peter had very bad cellulitis and was very ill and had to go to hospital. So I thought, oh my God, I hope I haven't, somehow managed to not catch it from him, but somehow managed to get it from that injury, dropping the bloody hutch dresser on my leg, right? Oh dear goddess. The things I do to myself are quite astonishing sometimes. Anyway, after I saw my GP, I visited Lynn and then had my debrief via telehealth with my psychiatrist. He is so proud of me for my jewellery making creativity, for reaching a piece of clarity and for getting over the viciousness of former lovers, friends and family of the past, i.e. moving on and making my life saner and beautiful. I told him I hope to make enough money someday. This is a big fantasy, people. So I can travel to all the sacred, holy sites around the earth before I get too old or too frail to achieve that dream. Already there, baby girl. But sometimes I am overwhelmed with the enormity that it might be too little too late, so I fall into despair. Then others I am euphoric and working so hard on my projects that I feel like my dream is possible. Well, that's all very well and dandy, but all the lovely silver jewellery I made, none of it has sold. So there goes my dreams of going anywhere, never mind around the planet to all the sacred spaces. But I can go there in my imagination, and I can go there by armchair travelling on YouTube or Facebook. I can go anywhere in a millisecond, people. It's just the dream was that I wanted to go there in this physical incarnation, this 3D reality, with my mind, body and spirit intact, and actually smell and feel the ley lines and feel the energies. Oh my goodness, that would be just so wonderful. But the irony is my daughter, when she was in the UK, said, please go to Stonehenge for me because I'll never be able to get there. This was my negative programming back then, right? Because it is negative, because you never know what miracles might unfurl for me. If I won lotto, I could afford to go, right? That would take a miracle, but other people win lotto. Occasionally, if I buy a ticket, it could happen for me. Well, I mean, money's an energy, people. You just have to cool it down, babies. It's here, it's with me now. I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy. I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. I'm truly deeply in love and I'm truly deeply loved back. Work the magic, babies. Work the magic, work the magic, work the magic. Who are you kidding? Shut up, you. Work the magic, work the magic, work the magic. I am, that really is, that's a good example of what I'm like, to be honest. But anyway, if I won lotto, I could be there right now. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, so my daughter goes to Stonehenge. You can't get up close to it anymore, so I suppose you don't really get to experience the full energetic, vibratory sensorium, So she said, it's just boring and you couldn't get close to it and it was just a waste of time. And I'm like, fuck me, it's Stonehenge. How can anyone go to Stonehenge and come back and say it was boring? Like, what the actual fuck? But I guess because I wasn't there, I don't know, that maybe it does leave you a bit bland and empty because you're not able to walk in amongst it and feel and sense and smell the earth beneath your feet and all those wonderful, whole experiences of being in an actual sacred site, right? I'm told some sacred sites around the world are actually quite scary and malevolent and not exactly welcoming too. So I guess there is that. And I guess it would also depend what mindset you went there in. Like if you were in a shitty mood because, I don't know, something went wrong or, you just weren't in that headspace. I guess you could be in the most magical, beautiful place on earth and still go, well, fuck. Because humans, we're so ungrateful, we're so physical, we're so trapped in our own physicality and, anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think I know what I'm talking. I'm just raving today. I'm raving. It's probably because I slept reasonably well last night, but I'm still got lag from all the nights I didn't sleep. I'm starting to feel like I'm launching into hypomania, people. Oh, well, that's a treat for you when I launch into hypomania. Incredible streams of consciousness occur. It's actually quite delightful. You'll probably see me launch into hypomania on Sunday or Monday when I recover from the epic dancing, because that epic over exertion of my body will launch me into hypomania sometimes. So, but I'm excited today. Can you tell? I'm really excited. It's like something really fucking wonderful is going to happen for me. Maybe not this weekend, don't get me wrong, but there's something around me that's just, innovating and delicious and gorgeous and delightful. So I hope I'm right. And not just hypomanic. But anyway, I've got to stop pathologizing every fucking day of every fucking moment of my life. I've been in therapy for 25 years, people. Like literally 13 years with my current doctor and 8 or 9 years, I can't even remember exactly. I think it was about 8 years with my previous doctor. So what's that? 8 and 13, 21. And then I did, a few years of self-help, reading all the self-help books I could get my hands on, at great expense, mind you, because I was buying them. It's amazing how all those books got borrowed and never given back too, by the way. Anyway, so I did about 4 or 5 years of self-therapizing in my early 30s when I just left that awful fucking defunct marriage. So all up, I've been and I also saw a Relationships Australia counsellor for about 6 months? I had a few sessions with her. Anyway, she was a wonderful woman too. And that was in 1996. So I've done 25 years of therapy without a word of exaggeration or a lie. So I tend to pathologise myself too much. I tend to be a bit hard on myself. I'm going to have to be sweeter to myself because things are changing rapidly around me. I'm seeing all the signs. It's like everything's just been opened up for me, like all obstacles are kind of moving out of my way and I'm moving through, and all along I'm being cheered on and encouraged and motivated and welcomed. Never had that before, never in my entire life have I been so welcomed. Even last year with the Women's Metalsmith Collective, they couldn't do enough for me, and the year before, helping me, with my silversmithing. It's like something in my spirit finally said, all systems go, you're ready, girlfriend. You're going to have the life you dreamed about, and we're going to make it happen for you. Here you go, you just ride through it on your Mustang Quay journey through life, and it's going to manifest. And there'll be no stopping you because we want you to thrive. And that's what it feels like. So, look, 59 next month, 3 weeks' time. That's going to be the key, I think. That's going to be where the big shift finally happens, where it's like nothing's stopping the Tanya from being her own epic version, 59, 0.0 version of awesomeness, and surrounded by people who genuinely love me and respect me and care for me and support me, right? I've had a lot of support over the years, like my worthy psychiatrists and my beautiful friends. So, as I said, it doesn't come from me, it comes from literally the gods making sure I have good people surrounding me to countermand or offset all the filthy, treacherous dreck that was also too many of them around me. And they've all been eliminated. And I'm like breaststroking my way, breaststroking my way through the pond of life, sloughing off all the sludge and evil and pervertedness and treachery and ghastliness, and coming out naked and sacred, surrounded by truest, deepest loves and light and joy and shalom, peace. I think I'm high. Do you think I'm high? I'm a bit high. I'm not on any drugs, just that solid venison. And, my vitamin D and my folic acid. And I just had 3 vitamin C's just to give myself a bit of a boost because I thought my tongue looks a bit grey. It's horrible looking. So vitamin C, I probably need vitamin B as well. Might have to go down and get some of that. I'm waiting on the results from the blood test, so I don't know. He might be able to tell me what I actually need. But I'm a little bit high this morning. Definitely a little bit high. That's okay. It's good to be happy. It's good to be euphoric and happy for a change. Where was I? I just finished saying that I worry that it might be too little too late, so I fall into despair. Then other times I am euphoric and working so hard on my projects that I feel like my dream is possible. And then of course I crash and burn because I overexert myself and overextend myself, and then I realise, who are you kidding, Tanya? I'm pissing literally in the wind. And then I go back to not, I haven't made jewellery for a while, apart from that little lady beetle bead. But anyway, At any rate, I will keep working towards that goal and keep the dream alive. It could happen one day, sooner than I think possible right now. Trying to trick myself that things are possible. Well, it keeps my mind going, doesn't it? Stops me slumping into depression and feelings of worthlessness and failure. Here I write, you really can manifest miracles when you believe and work hard towards your goals. Smiley face. Anyway, here's a photo of the beau who did believe in me, even though I couldn't keep him alive, for which I'm deeply, deeply aggrieved and distressed about to this day. But there he is, looking at me with absolute devotion and trust. And he was a beautiful boy. 22nd of March 2022. Sorry, I'm still on the verge of tears when I think about how awful those vets were at the Animal Welfare League. It kills me every time. I mustn't think about it. It's over now, it's done. Move on. Let it go, let it go. But I let nothing go. Nothing gets by me, people. 22nd of March 2022. He was dying in the grass where I was sitting, grounding. So I gathered him up and gave him some water with a bit of honey to revive him. Sometimes they just get exhausted and need a rest and some sugar, like me. I can't tell if he's going to make it. One wing looks twisted out of shape. Poor little bee, he seems content sitting on my finger. I had a very powerful communion with that little bee for quite a while. I had a coffee at my friend Amanda's little kiosk, and I was a bit astonished when I went there finally after many weeks, a few days ago, and she's gone. It's a new person running it now. So I was a bit distressed about that actually, because I was quite fond of Amanda, but I wasn't going there regularly anymore. So anyway, c'est la vie, another thing. People come and go out of your life and you have to accept it and move on. She says she has a nice man to introduce to me for friendship. I would raise one eyebrow, but I can't. I don't know why I can't. We'll try. No. I can't just raise one eyebrow. It's annoying. Just imagine if I could do resting bitch face and then raise one eyebrow. I'd be dangerous, darlings. You have to laugh. Anyway, I immediately flew into a panic because I do not like being match-made by anyone, not even the gods. Okay, maybe the gods, since they know best for me, but certainly not any mortals. I told her I would meet him, but not to matchmake me. That was how I ended up married at 19 to a dull intellect psychopath. Fuck my life. Literally, it was fuck from that moment on. Dead goddess. And I was in denial about it for quite some years too. Gave him 2 children who also have ended up abandoning me. So how much fuckery can one woman endure? I swear to all the gods, enough already. I went into Woolies and didn't buy the foodstuffs I actually needed, but came out with four, that's a lot even for me people, blocks of chocolate. Oops. Miss 5, that's my inner child, my untainted inner child, because I was 6 when sexual abuse started happening. So when I revert to Miss 5, I am resetting to the time before I was completely fucked over, right, by males. So I write, Miss 5, my pristine and very, very powerful inner child. If you ever meet Miss 5, she is the most dangerous of all my alter egos, although I don't actually have dissociative identity disorder, but they're just aspects of my psyche that I have nurtured and incorporated because sometimes I need them to be fully activated, especially in a crisis situation, right? So if you meet Miss 5, be afraid, be very afraid, because she is utterly fearless, she's untrammeled and untainted, completely pristine and pure, and in that purity, she is the most powerful aspect of my psyche. And I do love her, but she's a bloody brat and demanding. So I wrote, Miss 5 is terrified of any kind of possibility of even new friendships with single available males now. What year was that? 2 years ago. And here I was last year actually allowing a friendship to develop with, someone I met via my YouTube, which is why I've been burnt yet again and realised should have listened to Miss 5, Tanya. Miss 5 is always right. Anyway, I was fine chatting to Robert over our coffees. Robert was a very lovely man, as he is a lovely, kind gentleman and married, so non-threatening to my lunatic, traumatised reptilian brain. But he was a very sweet man. He was Irish background. Family came from Sligo. And I sat there many times having coffee and chatting to Robert, and he was just such a gentleman, such a sweet person. So I kind of miss those little chats we used to have. But I deliberately surround myself with unavailable men to keep myself safe. That's what that's actually about, dear goddess. But, you get a single man entering my life and they play fucked up games. This is why I can't go there. So anyway, I gave Amanda my mobile number as we are friends and said if the guy wants to meet me and is sitting down having a coffee, she could text me, and because I live very close by, and I could come down for a coffee. That way it would be more natural than an organised meeting. If we start talking and like each other, then who knows? But to be honest, I am terrified. Absolutely terrified. Too much damage has been done to me for too many years, in fact decades. That's why I am the way I am today, people. But I mentioned it to Robert, and he agreed. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I don't have anything to lose by opening up to someone new. Well, actually I do have a great deal to lose. It's dangerous for me. Anyway, I wrote with ellipses, ... to be continued, ... In the meantime, I am back in my sacred space garden, enjoying my general madness. 27 years alone. It's all I know. 22nd of March 2020. Watching the movie from time to time. Quote from Maggie Smith's character, "Death is not the most important thing, but whether you were loved or not. That is what most people think of on their deathbeds. It took my breath momentarily away. She whom has never been a very good breather. 'Tis true, love is the fabric of the multiverses. 22nd of March 2019. Sorry, I just feel a presence just step behind me and I'm wondering who and what that is. Anyway, I'll continue reading. I had a good evening last night with Jared, who cooked me rissoles and mashed potato with mushroom gravy for dinner. Delicious. We watched TV together and even stopped in at IGA for chocolate, gluten-free ice cream and caramel and sea salt popcorn. Yum. I felt weak after my ordeal of a colonoscopy, which has to be repeated as my internal house was still, after all that prepping, not clear enough. Infuriating. It'll be because of the semolina pudding, right? I think I might have almost deliberately sabotaged that colonoscopy. Kind of, sort of, maybe. But I was hungry. Never leave me hungry, people. I'm a wild berserker Viking woman. Never, ever leave me hungry. Anyway, today I'm being taken out for lunch by my beautiful niece, Ruby, and in the afternoon, Lynn and Danny are visiting. So I am thoroughly spoilt and blessed with loving friends and family, grateful, lucky woman here. I was thinking this morning how there were decades when I thought I would never know happiness, and one day a bubble in my psyche burst and I laughed for 4 hours non-stop. Now my goal is to eventually know what feeling and being healthy is. Well, it's not much of a goal. I haven't exactly committed too much to that, to be honest. It might never happen, but I can only try to be healthy, free of all pain, and full of zest and vitality of life. Must be amazing. I get tiny snatches of it occasionally, so I know good health is achievable, even with my many precarious issues. It all starts with mindset. Although colonoscopy prepping really feels like dying, and even my dog fretted for me, putting his paws up on the toilet seat and staring with great concern into my eyes, literally talking me through it. He was a wonderful animal, a wonderful friend, a wonderful soulmate, a great, great healer of a dog. He was distressed the entire week as he sensed my discomfort and unease. Last night he played with a ball, rather annoyingly, on the middle of the couch between Jared and myself. He was full of mischief, and I think he sensed my relief that it was over. He allowed himself to be a carefree dog again. I too must allow myself to be carefree until the next surgery. There will be healing and joy in my life. I will expect nothing less than that. Oh, and yesterday, the beautiful anaesthetist, an Indian woman doctor of my vintage, asked me how I was diagnosed with hypohomocysteemia, an illness caused by high stress that is usually prevalent amongst male CEOs of large corporate companies, as that was very unusual for a woman. I told her I lived through very dangerous times. I was diagnosed at around 35. She replied with the equanimity of a scientist, "Interesting." I smiled and replied, "Not so interesting, more horrific, but it was a long time ago now, and I probably don't still have hypomycystinемia, but I still take my folic acid every day to stave off strokes." She smiled. I was super impressed to have a female anaesthetist who actually took an interest in my dis-ease. Very cool. 22nd of March 2018. Last night was a sadistic horror show. I had a severe coughing spasm which caused vomiting and much distress, and I was unable to get much Ventolin in my lungs, and it was frankly very scary. I am strong and determined, so I pushed through it, but a member of my family was cruel and vicious and told me I was faking it for attention. So I told her between gasps that her sadism reminded me of my stepfather Case, who also betrayed, neglected, abused me as a child when I was suffering asthma attacks. Her response, bizarrely and bemusedly, was to sing me the sadist song from The Dentist in Little Shop of Horrors. She thought that was funny. So I watched her in my own observer mode with a complex observer mode of a complex trauma survivor, waiting with great curiosity to see how far she was going to go with it when Jared declared he was going home and took her with him. Jared, who, by the way, reads my face very well after many, many years of friendship and knows when I'm starting to get ever so slightly homicidal. Beautiful and wise of him, my beloved friend, as he has been through so much evil bullshit with me over 26 years, now 32 years, and knows what happens when the Tanya, that would be me, snap, schnup, snuppy fucking snaps. So my question to the universe is, how the fuck does this keep happening? I am surrounded by ghastly, derisive, cruel enemies, and all I ever wanted was love. So the answer is, something has to die inside me so that I can detach from these personal, much beloved hellhounds of hate. My own daughter, by the way. Shake them off and never ever let them back in my life. Which I did let her back in my life, and now we're estranged again. She wanted a letter from a palliative team doctor to prove that I'm dying, because she thinks that I catastrophize and confabulate and bullshit and lie about being seriously fucking unwell, the evil little dog. But I created that creature within my own womb, so I have to take responsibility that I created yet another sociopath from a long line of sociopaths, including her father being a dull intellect psychopath. So there is a history, babies, and I've been caught in a whirlpool of sass between each generation, and I'm done, which is why I have no contact with her. Apart from she sent me some weird message at Christmas, and I did send her a happy birthday message because it's her birthday and I am after all her mother, but I don't owe these people anything. I gave and I gave and I gave and I loved and I loved and I loved beyond the realms of mortal comprehension, by the way. And when I get sick and vulnerable, I'm shucked off like a dirty old husk and left to die, literally and figuratively. So no, fuck them. I'm done. I am older and tired and so very heartbroken. But in the style of the Tanya, I shall rise above their evil bullshit, and hopefully my life will get better, or I will find blessed release, which is always an option, people. I live with that option constantly tucked away in my psyche, the desire to self-immolate, to escape this fucking hell loop, which is why I'm delighting in the sweetness and love shown to me in recent months that more than compensates for my daughter's lack of true care and respect and decency towards me. More than compensates. But unfortunately, I'm in this life alone, and I'll probably be leaving this life alone, not by choice. I've been wanting a truly loving partnership all my life. I'll just quickly take this call, it's important. Just bear with me, people. Hello? Yes, hello, how are you? No, no, I don't see it. Okay, that's not all that important. I think just wants to have an idea and how to see this. Yeah, yeah. Nothing like knowing, all facts and which way to move. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okie dokie. Sorry about that interruption in the middle of my video. I usually reject all phone calls when they come through, but yeah, that was important from one of my doctors, so needed to sort some issues out there. It's all good. It's all happening. It's all cooking on gas. We're forging ahead. I like it. Everything's all systems go. What did I say earlier about all obstacles removed out of my way and I'm sailing forwards? I'm like the wreck of the fucking Hesperus, but I'm sailing forward. I just hope I don't end up like the Titanic again. I've done that life streaming too many years. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, or I will find blessed release, and I was explaining how I still have, since early childhood, a problem with suicidal ideation when too much shit goes wrong too often with too much monotonous regularity, or invite monsters into my life that are false and cruel and sadistic. like my own bloodlines, but it's actually kind of worse for me when it's a romantic connection, because it's just one thing too many and it tends to spiral me down. My psychiatrist said to me, are you going to get broken again over a man, and am I going to have to spend months deprogramming you and building you back up again? And, you know, it's a valid point. It is a valid point that he worries about my mental health if I get involved in a relationship with someone again. But it's not actually likely to happen anyway. It's kind of just out in my energy field. It's not landing. It's not real. It's not real till it's real. But I guess he's frightened that I will fall deeply in love with someone and throw caution to the wind, as I tend to do at times, because I've wanted love all my life. So naturally, when it presents itself to me, I do tend to move forward like the wreck of the Hesperus, trying to live my life fully and vibrantly in a truly loving partnership. And every time that happens, I get this level of sabotage, like, you know, can you be trusted, Tanya? With your own psyche, Tanya? Probably not. Probably not. After 59 years of fucking hell loops. But cut me some slack and give me a bit of grace. I'm an older woman now, and I've been dying for 59 years. Why can't people just let me fucking live for a change and actually embrace my sexuality and be loved and enjoy myself? Because fucking hell, I'm nearly 60, people. Well, no, I'm not. I'm nearly 59, but I'm reaching the stage where I'm going to be old and die alone anyway. So can't I just have a little bit of sweetness and deep abiding love before that happens? And yes, he's right, I'm kidding myself. But anyway, I carry on reading because it's sitting like a rock in my chest now. Just the thought of people trying to stop me having real love in my life, trying to deny me of the one bit of magic and joy that's in my life, even though it hasn't quite landed and I can't do anything with it, you know. At least let me have that much, for the love of all the gods. Literally, all the gods. Anyway, I'm going to stop having a Tanya tantrum now. I'm going to reel it back in, because I have to maintain a bit of decorum and a bit of reality. And breathe and let it go. Because what will be, will be. Who's destined to be my partner will show his pure intentions, his true authentic intentions, and he will claim me as his partner, and I will know, and the whole fucking world will know, and there will be no sabotage, because I'm determined that's how it's going to play out this time, if the opportunity arises, right? There'll be no sabotage. I will be surrounded by all our friends and acquaintances and business associates, and they will stand up and practically fucking cheer for us to be in love with each other, because that's what you do when people fall in love. You support them and encourage them and wish them joy and happiness and bliss. You don't undermine, sabotage, destabilise, dehumanise, invalidate, like I had with Fuck Knuckle Dave, who clearly was not meant to be in my life on any level, because there was so much viciousness and sabotage that it was beyond evil. So eventually even I had to come to the gnosis that there was an evil energy behind that relationship, and I had to just reach acceptance and let it fucking go, which I have done by the grace of the gods. And don't forget, a suicide attempt and a near-death experience with my gallbladder surgery And then I think it actually took my dog dying for that evil fucking albatross of the connection to that man to finally just lift away, wash away. And even then, he still popped up again at, outside the cemetery and at a red light. But I don't want that entity in my life anymore. He brought no joy to my heart and soul, nothing but grief and trauma and dishonour and disrespect and lack of genuine care. Didn't even communicate. Just not worthy. Not worthy. I need a man, a real man, who's worthy of me, who treats me with kindness and respect and honour and integrity and deep, deep love, and communicates with me regularly and effectively and courteously. I don't need shadow puppets and finger puppets and ghosts of former lovers and zombie men. No. I need a 3D reality, fully functioning, virile, passionate, but loyal, faithful to me, devoted, lover man. That's what I need. But what I will get is in the lap of the gods, because we all know how they like to tease me along. My angelic ones and my fae ones and my higher beings of high vibration. But I have a feeling, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong many, many times before. I have a feeling that this person that's meant to be mine, my partner, my Bichette, is going to start, really making it so blatantly obvious that he chooses me each and every time that I can no longer go into denial and get all flubbery and go, oh, I hope I find the one in the next dimension. I hope he turns up soon because I'm getting old, and kind of, all that distancing and pushing away that I do to keep my mental state pristine and safe, right? I have a feeling that the right one is coming, is what I'm saying. And not just coming, but solid and real and reliable and dependable and true and kind and respectful and loyal and blah blah. All of those qualities. Anyway. My breath sits in my chest like a cold hard stone, heavy and yet numb. Isn't that what I just said? The thought of more sabotage and viciousness when I'm trying to, open up to a real love nearly kills me. That's how they will kill me in the end. It will be over another heartache over some monstrous thing. That will be probably my end. That's my fear, people. That English dreadlocked nitwit nearly fucking killed me with his sabotage and viciousness and shoving woman after woman after woman at the live wire bar in my face, trying to degrade and humiliate me. And the other one, the Italian lover years ago, did the same trick, same modus operandi. Like, what the fuck is that even about? Why would you do that? When you're really in love with a woman, you introduce your friends to her and include them, but you don't do it to humiliate and debase her. So these are my beautiful friends. This is Tanya. How do you do? I'm in love with this woman. I hope you see the qualities in her that I see. You do it in a way that's respectful. All these fucking polyamorous fuckknuckles with their depravity makes me want to vomit, actually, how they behave. What's going on here? some guy who I don't know driving my neighbour's car and he's backing it up and up the hill. Oh well, it is my neighbour's vehicle, so it must be a friend of hers or whatever. It's just odd. Some odd goings on in my neighbourhood lately. It's really odd. But anyway, not my monkey, not my circus. I had 2 bad coughing fits yesterday, so I know I was not faking it. I never fake anything, actually. I really don't. I hate fakery. Real illness and real life has prevented me from fulfilling most of my dreams, and the one dream I did succeed at is a cruel, sadistic automaton, my daughter. A centipede crawled across my floor, and she lovingly scooped it up and put it outside. I told her she cared more for that bug than for me, and she sneered. I could not help laughing in a way, as it felt like a scene from American Horror Story when the insects crawled all over someone. Or perhaps that was another horror show. Anyway, true colours are beautiful, like a fucking rainbow, and now they are revealed, I will always know their mask and shady revelations. That was back when everyone was wearing masks. Oh no, it was before the masks, 2018. So this abuse dynamic's been going on for quite some time, people, which is why I'm done. Update, 22nd of March, 2022. It must be some kind of March madness, as my daughter and I are not talking again. I am so sick of being abused for no good reason. I am getting better at detaching though. Tempted to just leave everything, get in my car and drive to some distant place and never be heard from again. Very fucking tempting at times. But I'm holding on to my home and garden, my pets, and my true friends, and my sanity, ? I have learned by many varied bitter experiences that I have no real family to support me, so there is that. I wish I had a loving partner and kids that cared for me, or at least respected me enough to treat me with kindness. But alas, no. It feels like a horrific curse. Perhaps it is. But I know I have to get through the remains of my days quite alone, and I have to embrace that. And be okay, even if I feel like I am dying. Unrequited, rejected by my own children, but new, what else is new? Same old fucking merry-go-round, right? One day I really will fall off my perch, but hopefully those sadists won't be around to see it. Amen, sister. Trigger warning. Religious content is my relationship with the immutable, not yours. You are free to believe or not believe as you choose. This is only my way, and like all belief systems, it's complicated, smiley face. So here I write. The universe metaphorically picked me up and hurled me into a wall or door yesterday. 2 major asthma attacks and a demonic interception via my beautiful daughter. The door is not open, or I am yet to walk through it, but it is there, waiting. I would ask that you, O Infinite One, O Trickster One, O Beloved One, handle me like a fragile, precious treasure. This way up, handle with care, instead of slamming me like a pinball machine ball every which way. You, O Source of all existence and manifester of alternate universes, know by now that I will always get up again. All my angels will lift me up again by the hair of my crones, chinny chin chin, l'chaim, if they have to. So while you were creating new worlds and new potentialities, if not for me, then for whom, I was supercharged and shaken and rolled. Love your work. May I humbly request more beautiful spiritual revelations and unfoldments instead of bad health crises and vicious attacks. I loved that blue butterfly visitor and or messenger on New Year's Day with Jared at Cuchimudlo Island. That was stunning and blessed. Protect me from evil and those who have no pure intent towards me. Let me find peace and joy in my own empowerment and be surrounded by truth, freedom, and unconditional love. Thank you, universes. God, Stephen Hawking's GIMP. That was a joke, people. The Tanya is not dead yet. The goddesses and the Tanya. Every day, in every way, we honour the God within and the God without. It's a bit prescient that because Stephen Hawking, of course, was an atheist, I believe, but it's a bit prescient me mentioning thank you, Stephen Hawking's GIMP, since he was has since been revealed to have attended Epstein's Island. So he really was a GIMP indeed, wasn't he? Supporting that monster. It's just astonishing. Life is so astonishing, people, and not always in a good way. But there you have it. 22nd of March 2017. Exhausted, leg hurts, but for now I'm out of tooth pain. Let's hope that lasts. I worked on my book for a few hours today. It was hard to concentrate as Beauregard kept trying to leap up on the coffee table where I keep the laptop and demanding my full attention. I've also got a very sore neck as it is not very ergonomic, but I'm slowly making progress, I hope. Well, no. It's all up on Vocal Media though. You can access my Book of Life for free at my expense. Costs me $16 to $17 a month to have my writings up on Vocal Media, and nobody ever reads it, so I don't get paid. Which is why I am being defiant and sharing all my writings on YouTube for the edification of my own obstreperous, stubborn, willful spirit. I want my truth out in the world in the event that it might actually be able to help at least one soul. And if you save one soul, you save the entire world. Tikkun Olam. Little Charlie spent the day whistling out to other lorikeets in the trees. He played on his wooden perches with his toys. He seemed quite content, except he would not sit on my hand. I guess it will take a few days to get over the shock of moving to a new home. I gave him 2 grapes, but he did not eat them. He did eat his egg and biscuit mix. It rained most of the day, but I have no complaints. The garden is rejuvenated. 22nd of March 2015. My grandkids are here. One of the last times I get to spend time with them, as I need $1,000 to register the clown business in my name and pay for the permit. So bloody unfair. They will probably be rehoused at the Grantham Rabbit Sanctuary. I will miss them, and of course by keeping them with me, they would have been in Brisbane when or if Crystal came back to live here. So pissed off, but gonna love those bunnies as long as we can. Grandma visitation rights are awesome. And here I posted a photo of little Ramon, and I entitled it, Ramon the Rare Rabbit, my precious grandson, since neither of my daughters has yet begut the daughter and heir. Meh. But anyway, that was my beautiful grandson rabbit that Crystal had to, him and little Suki, relinquish because they wouldn't transfer the permit into my name, which was just bureaucracy gone insane. Both those animals were desexed and fully vaccinated. There's absolutely no reason why they couldn't have been transferred into my name for the period of 3 years that my daughter was in the UK, and then she could have reclaimed them when she came home, right? It was just viciousness on the part of biosecurity. Insanity and viciousness gone rabid, like a rare rabbit. Who takes people's pets off them out of spite like that? Queensland government, that's who. Fucking lowlife cunts is what they really are. And I'm not over it. I know it's just rabbits to most people, but they were beloved family members. Anyway, I should have probably put up one hell of a fight, but you just don't win against idiotic bureaucrats who are just moronic. And I'm too old to fight every little fucking thing. And quite frankly, my daughter should have put up more of a fight too, since they were actually her pets. But, you know, I had to fight to even be with my dog when he was about to be put down, because they withheld him from me out of spite all fucking day. And I did fight, and I did get to see him shortly before his death. But it was so traumatizing and awful to even have to fight to reclaim my rightful pet at his time of vulnerability, about to being put to death. It's fucked, people, is how I was treated yet again. It's just constant fucking systemic abuse. And I'm so fucking sick of it. Beyond sick of it. You have no idea how sick of it I am. Including losing my grandson rabbits because of a malfeasant, intransigent dickhead at biosecurity, how they run that joint. Perfectly healthy, desexed, fully vaccinated rabbits stolen from us by the inability to think outside the square. It's just insane, the whole thing. Absolutely. Anyway, I carry on. 22nd of March 2014. Early this evening, as I was getting dressed and made up for my big night out at Crystal's place, a woman came to conduct a radio survey with Crystal. I was totally amazed as she was a total stranger. She went right up to Ramon in his cage, and he did not rebuff or snub her. He sniffed at her hand. Wow! She must have some good energy, as my grandson, Brat Rabbit, usually just ignores me at Crystal's and was only affectionate when he was one-on-one with Grandma while Crystal went on her Melbourne trip. Little varmint. It turns out that the lady came from my hometown in Wellington, and she went to Marsden College, a very posh school. She told me she had wanted to attend my school, but her mother insisted on the private one. A good choice. My school was a fucking hellhole for me. Wellington Girls College was just a fucking nightmare from woe to go. But I sailed through that horror too. She is 10 years older than I, so we wouldn't have run into each other at high school anyway. I have only very bad memories of being institutionalised with 30 girls per class, all bitches, and more than often all PMSing all at the same time. It was not pretty, people. I did not enjoy being in that environment. The male teachers, or math teachers, either stunk bad or wore the same clothes every day, or had such long hairs on their hands that I demurred asking for help with maths, which I dearly needed as I could never get my head around numbers, as every time he put his hand down with a slap on my workbook, I would start heaving with nausea. Lol, sad but true. He was a Chinese teacher. Born in China. No, nothing against the Chinese, don't get me wrong, not racist. But this particular man had long, really unnaturally long hairs growing on the backs of his palms, on the backs of his hands here. Long black hairs, and they were all coiled into each other. And he literally would slap his hand down like this, fully conscious that it would make me sick. He must have seen the revulsion on my face before, right? So he did it, I think, partly to wind me up. And it wound me up, all right. He'd put his hand down, and I'd be wanting to ask him about some thing I couldn't get my head around. And I'd just look up and I'd be like, bleh, bleh. And he was a sadist. He took great delight in that. He physically made me want to vomit, slapping his hand on my workbook the way he did. So I realised it was kind of deliberate then, so I stopped asking him for help. Didn't want him anywhere near me. And it was just vile, the whole thing. I mean, he wasn't sexually inappropriate, don't get me wrong, but he was just so fucking hairy, which, is unusual for Asian men to be that hairy. Thinking about it, what was he eating? What hormones was he taking to make him so fucking hairy? It's bizarre. But anyway, never mind. One time, I got so sick of the whole deal that I wagged school and went to Wellington High School, completely feral, because the kids were co-educational and wore mufti. My idea of heaven, although in many ways I was fortunate I did not have to be educated with boys in my classroom. My friend Lynn, who was in her final year at Wellington High, helped smuggle me in, which was hilarious. Seriously, the standards were so slack they didn't even notice or care that they had a much younger kid in the graduating class for an entire morning until we buggered off to run amok at Oriental Bay. Sigh. My one rebellion, and it was worth it. I had a wonderful Friday. I had lunch with Sarah L., that's Sarah Legrini, at Toombul when I was friends with her for a while there. Got a little bit too intense, people. I had to pirouette out of that relationship too. No offence, Sarah Legrini, if you ever watch my videos. You're a lovely person, but you were impacting my mental health. It was too much. There's too much demands being made on my time and energy. If people are too demanding of my time and energy, I cut ties. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person per se or that they've done anything bad to me. I'll tell you if they've done bad things to me. She wasn't a bad person, but she was just too fucking needy and demanding. So I had to end the friendship. You know. And I'm not all that happy about it because, like I say, she was a sweetheart, but by the gods, I need to maintain my own sanity, so that's what that's about, you know. Then I went to Crystal's to get ready, and she took me out for dinner to the Italian club around the corner from where she lives. The food was delicious, and the man singing and playing the piano accordion kind of tripped me out as Crystal was loving it, and the piano accordion had been my mother's favourite instrument. So I was looking into her eyes and seeing my mother and trying not to freak out too much. But geez, genetics can be scary, lol. Especially when you combine it with my daughter looks a lot like me and we both look a lot like my mother. So I'm looking into her eyes, and then there's the piano accordion, which was a trigger for me. And then the image of my mother delighting in the piano accordion, even though she's my daughter, it was like being in a fucking horror movie, people. I kind of understood a little bit then how my half-sister Angela felt when she was in Poland and everyone that came down the street or around the corner reminded her of Mum and I, because there was no piano accordion, but that was just one thing too many. One thing too much. In many ways, this is how you know I'm a bit nuts, people. I am on a disability pension for a reason. I have lots of triggers, people, that I usually ride through, push down, or surf over the top, or remove myself completely and crawl back into bed to avoid things. But there's a lot of fucking triggers. I've got better at managing them over time. After 25 years of therapy, there's some things that will still fucking affect me quite severely. So anyway, I continue writing. In many ways, it also reminded me of Uncle Case, who played guitar and would sing such corny, lovesick and disingenuous songs to my mother, the Playboy, him the Playboy, not my mother, such as Lay Your Head Upon My Pillow and other croony type garbage. When the Italian piano accordionist played Quando Quando and my daughter and I sang along happily, well, I almost wished the ground would swallow me up, because I sang along more out of instinct and reflex than actually enjoying the experience. Tell me, when will you be mine? Tell me quando, quando, quando. And I'm having a nervous breakdown just thinking about it. But anyway, it is a sweet song. It's very sweet. It's just one of my triggers. Thanks to my fucked up childhood and my fucked up parenting. Here I am going to rock gigs and blues fests and living la vida loca and stomping out my pain and frustration, my libido and my joy depending on my mood at the time, and my beautiful 28-year-old daughter is living my fucked up parents' dream. Oi, gewalt. We will be back, however. We must like being tortured, right? They tell us they have dancing on Friday nights as well, so I will just go for the nice food and pleasant atmosphere, then head out for my wild nights, you know where. In those days, the wild nights were happening at, what year was this? Yeah, they were happening at Irish Murphy's. That was my stomping ground back in the day. That men from the music scene, loving men, sweet men, devoted men, still trying to lure me back to that rape den space of dishonour and horror, and did I mention filth and ghastliness? So I always laugh when people try to lure me back there, but it's because they remember me being there for 2.5 years, dancing triumphantly and wildly, in spite of all the shit show that was going on around me, right? They have no idea how wearing on my nerves that could be. Anyway. After dinner, Crystal drove me to the casino so I could enjoy Abby Sky belting out her rock mojo, or mana, with Mission X. She was fantastic as usual, and I was happy the Treasury Casino finally got wise and brought her back. I hope they keep bringing her back. They didn't, because they're assholes, but anyway, you get that. Then I went to Irish Murphy's and went completely wild to the music of Jabba, who are consistently awesome back in the day, till he started telling everyone to get fucked right in the pussy. That was the end of me supporting that band. No fucking respect. I had a great time, but boy, was I tired at the end of the night. Then I visited George the Busker, but he was in one of his weird moods and shut me out. So I went to have a coffee at the kebab shop before heading home. Some young man commented on me drinking coffee at 3 a.m. I said, well, I'm sober, that's why. What else do sober people drink at this hour of the morning? He said, tequila with coffee. I smiled, said, alrighty then. Then I walked to Adelaide Street to get the Nightlink bus and was thoroughly pissed off at being stalked by 2 different Indian taxi drivers asking me for a ride when I had not hailed them and was obviously going to catch a bus. So I told them to piss off. But one kind of made me nervous as he parked his taxi up near the bus stop and waited for me to walk up to where the city glider waits. I was wearing my corset, big skirt and docks, so these creeps get ideas. So I sat down out of his line of vision and waited for him to drive off before I walked to the actual bus stop where I stand. Creepy. I was glad to get to Crystal's place safely and then get my car and drive home. Boy, what a night. 7:24 a.m. Still not sleeping. I just took some Seroquel. That should quell my mind and stop me feeling pain in my feet. So many cool things happened last night. People were genuinely affectionate towards me, which was lovely, apart from one envious lump of a female who moshed onto me when I was in my zone, so I had to snap out of it and move away. I had a good laugh when I was heading home. when I say I'm in my zone, it means I'm in a light trance, which is the whole point of dancing wildly for hours and hours. Is I enjoy getting into that trance state, which is when I get downloads, I get healing, I get sometimes messages from spirit. It's part of my shamanic walk, right? That whole dancing to the point of, the fourth or fifth wind of adrenaline kicks in and getting into that zone. So being grabbed or jumped on by fucking idiots can really fucking enrage me, especially it's dangerous to bring me out of that mild trance. And I'm quite certain that lump of a female who was chasing after Dave's ass did it to be malicious as well. Like, I don't care, I wasn't with him. But, I had these really vicious, envious, spiteful females that would see that, I had this deep love for that guy back in the day, and they would see this love between us. And so they would malevolently attack me by literally jumping on top of me like that fucking thing used to do. And, or, the vicious gossip and slander they put around the Brisbane music scene about me, which I couldn't care less. I know the truth. I know who I am. People say all sorts of ugly, putrid things. None of it's real or true. But, it would get, again, very wearing on my nervous system, having to deal with those low-level fucking entities every weekend. And in the end, I didn't deal with them. I just told them all to fucking stay away from me, which is only fair given how much malevolence they were, sending to me every weekend, including Dave, by the way. So fuck them. Absolutely awful they were. Anyway, here I write. I had a good laugh when I was heading home to see the same cow trawling after a good-looking young guy who had been dancing with me briefly, but whom I told to his face that he was no good to me as he was too drunk. Also, I don't encourage sexual overtures from extremely young men because I find it fucking depraved and abnormal or subnormal even, and it just won't happen, I did have a few dalliances in the past with, one or two far too young men, and I even realised how bloody ridiculous that was. I used to laugh at myself, actually. So that all stopped. There was no more of that nonsense allowed ever again, because at the end of the day, it's not what I want from life. I want the one, a loving partner who's genuine and, makes a commitment with me, not some young fucking thing just trying to blow his load on some woman. Any woman would do. It's not like you're special. They literally treat you like you're just a fucking, as my ex-boyfriend years ago used to refer to women as holes with goals, which is another reason why I ended that relationship. Men who treat women like just pieces of meat to be orgasmed into is just beyond vile. Beyond vile. So that's why it's very rare that you see me actually flirting with men in the club scene. And, I do flirt with my friends in the band because they're safe and they know that it goes nowhere and it just keeps us a little bit mischievous. But you will not see me very often, if ever, lay the sexuality out for some random guy in the club. It's too risky. It's just too risky and a waste of my energy anyway, since most of those motherfuckers they're not going to go anywhere with you apart from blow and go, right? That's how it is, people. Anyway, I write here, they deserve each other. I just laughed my ass off. So that was why she was so vicious to me. I wasn't even interested in the guy. Way too young. Lol. As they say in England, nout queerer than folk. 22nd of March 2012. What's he doing, my neighbour? It's odd, very odd. He slows down as he goes past my house. Like really slows right down. Anyway, also a bit odd behaviours. I feel like, do you know what I feel like sometimes? Especially since the vaccination for the transubstantiation of everyone's souls has happened. 90% in Queensland are all altered permanently by that, by the way. I feel like everyone's gone varying degrees of like quite mad. And I thought, is it because of me? Am I going mad? You know, I'm trying to hold on to my sanity. But I'm seeing such really odd behaviours on a daily basis. And it's astonishingly odd. Like, almost like they've been body snatched, some of the people. I'm not saying everyone. Some people around me are still keeping it together. But it really feels like the invasion of the body snatchers. I sometimes look at people, even some of my acquaintances, and I think, you're not you anymore. Who am I even dealing with? And sometimes it does glitch in and out, almost like a glitching in the matrix. It's fucking frightening, people. More and more every day I feel like, am I in some altered timeline? And am I in some fucking alternate universe? Is this our Earth, our reality now? Like, what the actual fuck? It's frightening. And in the midst of all this strange alterations of people's body, mind, spirit cohesion, I'm trying to find a truly loving partner out of a world that's gone completely stark raving mad. So I must be mad too. Who even holds out hope for finding a healthy, constructively normal, healthy, vigorous, virile, respecting, devoted love partner out of what's left of this shit show of the last 4 years? I must be delusional. I must be soul ridden by some entity too, that I even still want that after all the evil shit I've been put through for close to 59 years. It's miraculous how my heart still goes on and cleaves to the idea of true love and true loving partnership and mutually exclusive, devoted, adoring, loyal, faithful partner, that I even cleave to that dream like a maniac, because old me gave up on that dream, and when I gave up on that dream, I actually was doing better. I feel like I'm slumping into some fucking quagmire. I think my psychiatrist is right. If I actually have sex with a man again, he's going to spend fucking months like retrieving me from the abyss again. I think he is right to worry about that, actually. But my hope for Pollyanna, optimistic side says, no, you're allowed to be in love, Tanya, and have someone love you back. You're allowed to be a vibrant sexual being who's loved completely and fully and joyously. I'm allowed. I'm giving myself permission to be loved that way, at least once, before I pop my clogs and leave this mortal coil. I have spoken. I'm determined to. I'm a bit determined. I'm not pushing the envelope with the object of my desire, though, because he's not available. Otherwise, it'd be on already. Believe you me, we'd be astonishingly on. But I'm a lady and I'm a decent human being, and I will not be the source of another woman's pain. I won't. 22nd of March 2012. My Maduan man friend sent me major healing last night after another heartache. I feel so calm and centered today. He really does do wonderful energy healing. He's working with me so I can attract real, loving, decent, faithful, genuine men into my life. Well, actually, not men plural, one man. Look at my crooked, frickin' arthritic chrome finger. One man. It's a bit crooked too. One man. One man. No, not the pinky. He'd be gay. Sorry. I love my gay friends, but I don't want to have sex or cohabit with you. That would be weird. Just one red-blooded, healthy man who adores me. Only takes one. Who am I kidding? Anyway, calm my farm. Roll back. Where were we? Genuine men into my life, so I can get off the arsehole, time waster, merry-go-round, which didn't actually work because I drew in Dave in early 2014, and he was 10 years of arseholery and time wasting, by the way. Frankly, the way my Madui can work with me and my energy and my attitude, I should go to America and marry him. Although I don't really want to get married ever again, because I don't want to be enslaved or entrapped by a little contract written in blood to a man who's false and feckless like I had with my first and only marriage, right? I never want to be at the mercy of a human man ever again. Which is why falling in love for me is probably one of the most risk-taking things I can actually do. Other people slash themselves with razor blades or blow themselves out with illicit drugs or do parkour and jump from tall buildings and defy death that way. I self-harm by falling in love with unavailable men who are often cruel and sadistic and feckless. Which is why I'm a bit astonished that, my friends have been so beautiful to me in recent months. It tells me that finally the gods are making as I said, a pathway for me to finally meet a truly good, loving, decent, noble man who chooses me at long last, and I choose him. Requited, devoted, loyal and faithful. But here we are, back in 2012, still hoping against hope, right? It's 12 years ago, people. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But anyway, this Maduan man's intentions were honourable, and his magic did work, in a way. It drew in Dave, but look, the love between Dave and I was real for a brief time. My love was more devoted than his though, motherfucker. But his words were, my Maduan friend, was I will light up your spirit and I will light up the man's spirit so that when you meet each other you will know he is the one that will show you the greatest love of your life. And those were his actual words. And do you know that did happen? Dave, with all his evil, malevolent, acopic, avoidant, narcissistic, Machiavellian, using, did I mention using? Did show me the greatest love of my life. Had to make me turn within and start loving me in all the ways I had never been loved ever in my entire life before. He healed me with his viciousness and his malevolence and his vicious girlfriends and whores and sluts and creatures. Actually healed me. So, to you, Dave, you dreadlocked nitwick motherfucker, I can almost be grateful to you because of the damage you put me through. And you weren't the only damage, by the way, baby boy. You were just the final straw that broke my camel's back. The damage he put me through made me finally realise I cannot compromise my heart, spirit, soul on fucking idiots ever again, because otherwise it will kill me, literally. I nearly did die over the grief over that one, and he wasn't worth it. Imagine if I had died over that nitwit. It's embarrassing, people, but that's why the gods vomited me back to earth and wouldn't let me get out of this life, even after the gallbladder surgery went wrong and I did die briefly. No, vomited right back here again, bang, telling me, they literally told me, you'll be tying up loose ends. We want you to fulfill your mission on earth and have the life you always dreamed of. And here we are. Since 2019 that event happened, that near-death experience. Here we are, almost 5 years later, and it's blossoming up for me beautifully. And I must not buy into the bullshit of other people's anxieties and or envy and spite. I must not. I must keep forging ahead, bit by bit, day by day, forging my path on earth, till the right one comes to me and says, you're my woman, Tanya. I choose you. Let's make a life together. Because that was promised to me 30 years ago, by the way. And I can see the shifts and the changes that have come about to make that possible, including in my own psyche and spirit. You know, it's been magical and beautiful watching me come back to life from that horror, that shit show. I'm so fucking in awe of my own self right now, because I know how far I have come, literally struggling on my own. Even my daughter abandoning me last September just after my dog died. Another kick to the face designed to make me spiral into my death consciousness and want to be suicidal, by the way. No, I fought through all of that. I fought through every evil motherfucker that ever threw themselves at me. I fought it and I moved forward very bravely and very courageously and very intrepidly, because I know my worth as a woman and as a spirit, and what should have been mine and may yet be mine is coming. Might take some more. I don't know how long it will take. It might take another few years. It might take another decade. It may not ever manifest. I may die before that even happens. But by the gods, I'm glad I didn't die over that fucking nitwit. Because even if I had died, I would have had to haunt him, because I'd been so enraged at the waste of all my love and energy poured into someone so cold and callow and empty. It's embarrassing. So I'm not doing that anymore. Finally, I learnt. Love the ones who love you truly and wholesomely and respectfully, and let the rest slough off. And I continue here. His elder, my Maduan's elder, a bona fide medicine man of the the Ojibwa tribe, has advised him that I need taming. I'll settle for calming, not sure I want to be completely tame. Ha ha ha. I am blessed to have amazing friends who are totally there for me when I am down and out for the count. You rock. And on that note, we conclude today's readings and my musings on my readings and my affirmations of what I want for my future, and building a boundary around it to make sure it's honoured and sanctified and kept sacred and safe. And maybe I'm kidding myself. Maybe I've always kidded myself. But what is meant to be will always come to me in full vibrancy and vitality and joy and bliss, and will hold me. That person will hold me in his arms and love me in all the ways no human man has ever loved me before, with deep, deep, regard and respect and honour and integrity. He'll be a good and kind and loving and affectionate and sweet and loyal and faithful to me. And harm ye none, so it is done. No competition, no sabotage, no sadomasochistic viciousness, none of that. Clean and clear, an open, honest dialogue, and constant, respectful, caring, affectionate, loving communication. Someone who thinks I'm absolutely wonderful and will not try to destroy me or immolate me like the rest, because I'm done with that. If anyone is going to destroy or immolate me, it will be me by my own hand, because I can't live in constant chronic pain and agony anymore. That's the only way that will happen. No one has the right to take my life from me but me, and of course the Holy One in all manifestations. You won't be taking my life by breaking me down and crushing my heart and stomping on my truth and shitting down my neck. The only one that gets to shit down my neck and live is my little bird Charlie. And listen to all the sirens. It's like living in a horror movie. The world can still be a beautiful place, people of Earth. Don't give up. And I'll tell you why you shouldn't give up. Because Mama T hasn't given up yet. I haven't given up on my body, mind and spirit. In fact, I kept it safe from that transubstantiation, for which my GP, who I saw the other day, bowed to me as a mark of honour and respect. I was quite astonished. He must be seeing so many adverse effects in his daily practice that he knew that I did the right thing by my body, mind and spirit. It was awe-inspiring to be bowed to for having the courage of my convictions. So I shall not give up. I shall not give up on myself. I shall not give up on finding who my true love partner is and beginning a beautiful, loving relationship with a beautiful, loving man. I won't give up on it. I won't give up on our planet, and I won't give up on our gods, and I won't give up on the interdimensional entities that visit our planet with monotonous regularity, who are trying to heal our earth, maintain our planet, heal it, gift us longer continuance on this planet. I'm talking about the benevolent entities, by the way. And I have every faith in that too. The gods and all manifestations are here, my darlings, just because you can't see them, because they're moving between dimensions, doesn't mean they're not with us every day in every way, trying to keep us all alive and safe on planet Earth. Maybe. Well, we know how they shut down the missile silos like that. So at the very least, they didn't prevent the last COVIDian insanity, unfortunately, but they will at the very least prevent any nuclear holocausts. Not for our sake, because we're just like hairless apes to them, but for the sake of preserving the ecosystem and our planet. They will do it for Gaia, if not for us. And I know that sounds a bit bonkers, but I actually truly believe that. They won't preserve us. We're worthless, verminous creatures. Look at what I've written here, what I had to deal with in the past. Worthless, verminous creatures, fueled by such savagery and rage and envy. That little old me, who was trying to live her best life, and still is, by the way, 10 years later, by dancing and having a bit of joy in my life with all my fucking cumulative health issues and traumas. So if anyone will look upon me with grace and honour and respect, it will be the interdimensional ones who know how many times they kicked me back to this planet, even when actually I had wanted to die at that point in time. So take courage, people of Earth. Take courage. We are loved. We are protected. We are seen and we are heard. Keep creating your magic. Keep putting out your prayers. Keep putting out your affirmations. They seem silly and nonsensical, like my dream of travelling to all the sacred, holy sites on earth. They seem out of reach and impossible, but the energy you put behind it, your pure loving intentions, will manifest, sometimes in astonishing and miraculous ways, because the gods do hear us and see us. When you think you're alone and all hope is lost and there's nothing left, and you take what you think is the most logical, appropriate action, and you get kicked back to earth again like I did, not once, but many, many times, you finally get with the program and realise that you're here for a reason, and that you need to fully activate and embrace every aspect of your life force and take delight and joy in your small and varied successes and your small and varied steps up the Jacob's ladder to Nirvana, because it's a long process, people. Some people achieve it in an instant, and others, like me, have had to drag my sorry ass along and die of poverty for 29 years, by the way, on a disability pension with not very good resources, and hold our own and be intrepid and be in love with life enough to finally draw in the truly loving ones into my circle of trust and of hope and deep love and affection. So Have a beautiful day, people of Earth. Mama T loves you as a conduit from the gods. When I say I love you, men of YouTube world, doesn't mean I want sexual congress with you, so calm your farm. I'm talking spiritual, powerful, agape love, love that cannot be destroyed or sullied or interfered with by envy and spite or malicious bloodless curs. Real love, supernal love, flowing from the Ein Sof Or down to Malkut to you and back up again. Keep the love, real love, honouring, safe, respectful, joyous love alive in your hearts, bodies, minds and souls. And remember, as always, never, ever let the bastards grind us down. Bye for now.